Hello, church family. This isn't so much of an update, it's more of a check-in. I was fortunate enough to have some time away. Last couple of weeks, I went with my family to our cabin in West Virginia. We go every summer, at least try to get a couple of weeks there, and we love it there. It's such a wonderful time. We get to do a lot of fishing, although I should call it casting. The fish are not always that involved. We do a lot of swimming, hiking. We enjoy a lot of fresh produce. There's really good farm stands around there. And it's just a good time away for us as a family. We actually look forward to it every year. It's kind of a time for us to reset. And so in the spirit of resetting, I had some really good time on my own. I like to wake up early and go down to the lake and spend some time fishing, but really it's just kind of time to spend with the Lord, just sort of thinking about the year, thinking about how we're doing spiritually, how I'm doing spiritually. I spend time praying. And it occurs to me as I think about the season of summer, it's sort of a mixed bag for me. I don't know what it's like for you, but on the one hand, I absolutely love summer. I love the warm weather, and I love not having to have the chaos of the morning and getting all three of our kids to school. And I love tomatoes and fresh produce. And I love the flexibility that we often have to travel and to do things that we enjoy. I love taking our kids to the pool. There's a lot of things that I love about the summer. But I've also realized that summer, for me, can often be the most spiritually challenging time of the year. And I think that has to do with the fact that a lot of the rhythms that we normally live by from fall through the spring help guide my spiritual disciplines. They provide a kind of scaffolding for my times of prayer and reading scripture. And we're obviously in church every Sunday, if not more often. And so there are natural rhythms for the rest of the year that help create some structure spiritually, so that I have times that I'm connecting with the Lord on a regular basis. But summer can be a bit different. A lot of those natural rhythms go away, especially if we're traveling a lot or various things are happening. And what that means is that it's easy in my life for a lot of those normal kind of day in, day out, week in, week out rhythms to fall away. And I find myself around this time of the year, around this time of summer, feeling sort of disconnected from God, feeling kind of like I'm in a spiritual slump of sorts. And then that for me can get kind of overwhelming, because I start wanting to make all kinds of resolutions, and I start getting all these lofty ideals of how I'm going to restart and recharge spiritually. And so it can kind of create this loop for me of having less structure but wanting to do more. And I came across this passage that actually was really encouraging to me. This comes from the Desert Fathers, actually. And there's a story of a distressed monk who sought to renew his spiritual life. He felt like things had slipped away, and yet, as he thought about all of the things that he wanted to do to try to reconnect with God, it seemed pretty overwhelming to him. And so he was encouraged to visit an elder monk who told him this story. He said, "There was a man who had a plot of land, but it got neglected and turned into waste ground, full of weeds and brambles. So he said to his son, 'Go and weed the ground.' The son went off to weed it, saw all the brambles, and despaired. He said to himself, 'How long will it take before I've uprooted and reclaimed all of that?' So he lay down and went to sleep for several days. His spiritual father came to see how he was getting on and found he had done nothing at all. 'Why have you done nothing?' he said. The son replied, 'Father, when I started to look at this and saw how many weeds and brambles there were, I was so depressed that I could do nothing but lie down on the ground.' His father said, 'Child, just go over the surface of the plot every day, and you will make some progress.' So he did, and before long the whole plot was weeded." And here's the point. He says, "The same is true for you, brother. Work just a little bit without getting discouraged, and God by his grace will reestablish you." And I love that. It was really encouraging to me. And I think what that means for us is that if you're feeling like you are in a spiritual slump, if you're feeling like you are disconnected from God, if a lot of the flexibility and travel of this time of year has also led to you falling away in whatever spiritual disciplines help you connect to the Lord, don't get overwhelmed. Don't give up. Don't give in to despair. Start small. Figure out some small area of that garden of your heart that you can begin to weed. And it could just be as simple as carving out a few minutes in the morning to simply sit and be with the Lord. Figuring out a book of the Bible that you've not read before and starting to read just a few verses a day. It could be starting a journey in the Psalms by just picking one psalm and beginning to read just a few verses and then turning those verses into prayer. It might also mean just committing yourself as often as you're able to worshiping in church. When you're in town, come and worship with us, with your church family. If you're traveling, try to figure out if there are churches near where you're going to be if you're there on a Sunday, and drop in. It's one of my favorite things to do when I'm traveling, is to try to find opportunities to worship in churches where I'm not the pastor, where I just get to come and sit in the back and just worship the Lord. So these are just some words that have encouraged me. I hope they encourage you. Stay connected this summer the best you can. Don't get overwhelmed. Start small. But I do hope and pray that you will find opportunities to connect with the Lord, because He is in your life. He's present. He loves and delights in you, and He is has created you for relationship with Himself. And so His arms are open wide, and I pray that you would find His embrace. I've spent some time praying for you all this morning, and for those of us who are in town, I really look forward to seeing you Sunday and worshiping together. For everyone else, I pray God would bless you wherever you are right now, and I look forward to seeing you soon.